Well, my project today is to do something a little different, and it's to paint a nocturne, which is this night scene here of this lovely church. I don't know if my camera's picking that up. Not too bright perhaps, but it's obviously a night scene of this church. And the brightness, it's all floodlit of course, but we've got the silhouette of these pedestrians. I don't know whether it's showing too well in my through my camera anyway, but it will be revealed. But I've got these lovely pedestrians walking here, and you just see them in silhouette with this golden light coming through. Obviously the white of the church and a little bit of greeny light in these trees just silhouetted there. And here we've got this bus shelter with a little light in there, and we've got the details and the blue here. We've got to get this blue. The temptation of course in the photograph is it's the blacks are blacker and the bright lights are lighter than the human eye, so I've got to try and compensate for that. And if I zoom up carefully on this picture, I can see some lighter tones here. This front of this house is catching light, and here in a garage and a window, so I've got a hint at some of these lights, and this tree projecting into our scene here. Green of this, light yellow on top of that lich gate there. So let's get cracking and see what I can make of it. You'll see that I've toned my canvas with just some umber. I just took some sort of burnt umber really, and took out the white. So what I'm going to do now, I think I've got to try and map in the main areas, although it's largely just black or dark scene. So I'm going to get some of my ultramarine here and a little bit of odorless mineral spirit, and see how I'm going to lay out. It's all going to be all dark in here. We've got our tree, it's coming in there, and it's hardly visible actually. They're just shapes really, but I just put a few marks in there to remind me of some of the elements of this house. I can see their drive there and a little bit of their garage. I think they've got a window here, so I want to get some light in there if I can. But the main issue of course is we've got to get our church steeple in. Got to try and get it nice and straight. We can deal with that later, but this again just mapping out the tower there. A little wider perhaps. And the main part of the church is coming out here. here we've got a part of the structure. I say we'll have to get a lot more detailed as we go. A little bit of the building here, and I say we will put in our main areas. And here we've got this bus stop, which is all illuminated, and there's a wall, church wall, enclosing the churchyard. A wall all along there, and of course we've got our pedestrians here. Got 3 pedestrians. Going to be there, and I say this is all going to be shadowed area, all in deep shadow. All black along here, and we've got a window here. We've got to get the sort of castellations of the structure there. Just trying to put in some of the shapes. The top of that structure there, and we've got a nice window there. A bit of a buttress there, buttress here. I'm going to have to get very much more detailed as we go. And this shadowed area here. This is one of the key things. I've got to get this right, because it's what attracted to me to the doing the painting was this marvellous photograph here, taken by a local photographer who's just captured this magic moment. All this light reflected on this road. Yes, we've got the lich gate to the church is just here. I've got to get that right. And there's another part of the church here. Another steepled, or a roof line, I should say, so I've got to get all this in somehow or other, and we've got that nice greenish tree there, which is, although it's somewhat monotone, the light is, there's some floodlights in here. Well, the whole church is floodlit. It's a nice green bit of structure going there. This is fencing. But anyway, we're getting there. Getting some darks in here. Tree here. Which I want to try and get some light on that and show the main boughs, some trunks. This is very dark here. Going to try and get some nice details in this part of the church though. So I'll have to, I'm trying to do this alla prima, only one sitting as it were, but I'm wondering whether I should just get the bulk done, but maybe tomorrow come back, take my time and do some fine details. Depends how much you want to put into your painting. I like to do them in one session if I can, but you've got to really give each painting its due time, and that will vary on how complex it is. Yes, I want, for me it will be impressionistic, which is the way I like to paint, but I want to capture some of the architecture here. I want it to look like a reasonable representation of this beautiful church. So got to be mindful of that. So I think I'll concentrate on getting the main shapes in perhaps on this session. We'll see how it goes. So yes, it's a mass here, isn't there? Of course, the sky is going to be dark, but I want to try and avoid just making it black. It's not what I want to do, really. Let's just get some want a lighter blue here. I want it to be contrasting with this dark, which I get in later. Yes, this is still mapping it in, so I get some sort of feel what I'm going to do. Because it's all about tone. I've got to get the right tone and values down. Going to be a little darker here. So this is really quite diluted paint, as it were, with my odorless mineral spirit. So I'm going to do fat over lean, which is this very fine thin paint initially anyway. Is what we've got here. So that will change when I've really start to focus a little bit. And yes, maybe I should get straight in with some of these more approximate colours. Let's get some of these masses down. Yes, I can see. Yeah, let's get a different brush now to a bigger one. Yes, I've got a number 4 filbert here. I think I'll use that now. Let's step up these darks so we can see the contrast value. So I'm using some umber now, some sienna, burnt umber, sienna. Yes, let's try and, yes, I think I need to make this a lot darker. have to soften this edge so this graduates down into different, it's too sharp an edge at the moment, but as I said, I'm still trying to decide where my darks are going to really, I think this will all be pretty dark here. I've got to make this church is going to stand out. As I say, the church is just obviously the main focus. So everything else is going to be various degrees of dark. As I said, it looks a bit of a mess at the moment. The paintings, they all go through this, you think. How am I going to make anything of this? Definitely get that feeling. Although I know I can change it as I work towards the finished painting. Just scrubbing it in, really. And yes, we'll have to decide on a tone for our church, the stonework. Yes. It's almost a vignette, really, if I black all this out so we don't see any detail, just to use it as a foil to draw attention to the church. Really, that's what I'm essentially doing, I think. And all this is blacked out as well in my reference anyway. My reference picture, it was just very dramatic photograph, brilliant. So I've got to do justice to that, remembering of course that this is a painting, so it'll be quite different, but I've just got to use the inspiration of my reference photograph. That's the way to do it, because if you want to have absolute accuracy, you've got your photograph. I'm trying to do a painting, which is a different animal altogether. So let's think about this. Yeah, these shafts of light help take our eye in to the painting, into our scene. So I've got to do some careful work on this structures here. Now, where do we go to straight away? Right, let's get some whites in for these. Get some tonal value in for this church. It's sort of bluey, actually, bluey colour. So I've got some titanium white here. A little bit of umber and colour on my brush, which is making it a little bluey, which was in essence what we have in our scene. Right, that's the nave of the church here. Inside the porch, there's bluey tones here of the light. I think we'll have to go some fine brushes later to put in the windows and all these features of this church. I'm just trying to concentrate on the masses, really. Try and get the mass done. Got to make sure I've got the proportions of this tower as well. I think I'm going to make it a little bit taller. I've actually done a watercolour of this a few days ago, just as a sketch. I could show it to you later, actually, when I've finished. and see what you all think, but I had to adjust the height of the tower. Actually, I did a watercolour of this church 6 months ago, which has been used as a cover for a novel called The Morsham Murders. So you might take a look at that. The author wanted a church like this, as it played some part in his plot. So take a look at that, by Alan Mackenzie, The Morsham Murders. Really interesting. A little reminded me of the Midsummer Murders, a TV series we have in the UK. Ran for a few years. I think it might still run. And it reminded me very much of that. Of this community, closed community, and all its, well, it could be the story of, could be based on any village. It was actually based, I think the author based it on a North Bedfordshire village, which this is. So it seemed appropriate. So let me think. Now I've got a window coming here, some lights. Yes. Got to get some fine work done on the tower, that's for sure. Got to get in those dark bits to show the castellations on the tower. Yes, I think I better leave that for smaller brushes when I've got a bit more control. Let's just still think about this. Yes, I think I ought to go to, let's see if put that tree in. Let's see if we can get some green in there. It's a big body of canvas there, so it all takes shape slowly. Catch a monkey. So I'll wipe my brush off a little, and then we'll get some green. Got some sap green here, which is I think I'm gonna it's the thing when it's alla prima, when it's very wet like this, you have to be fairly careful how you lay down your paint. It's kind of tricky to get it down sometimes, so roll your brush, keep reloading it. So I'm rolling my brush a little bit here. Let's see if I can lay it down. So there's quite a few lumps there. Comes down in here. So I keep wiping my brush off. You can't see me doing that, but I have to wipe it so I don't disturb get all the white paint. I think that can do for that. And we also have something of it here. Tray. And then I have to have a much darker tone on this side of it. So I'm going to take some umber there, mix it with that green, see if I can lay in a little bit of shadow there. Coming there. Right. Let's leave that for a moment. Although I could use some of this dark here. For our bus shelter. Village church notice board there. I've got quite a dark wall going down there. Yes, and this is to leave a little bit of light there. Now let's all this bit of white in here. As I said, this was a beautiful bit of light was coming there. So I think if I lay that in, then I'll have to paint my pedestrians over that really. I'll wipe it out in various ways I could do that, but let me just get the colour. So what should I do? I'll get a little bit of orange, cadmium orange I've got here. And a little bit of cadmium red. So I want to sort of rosy colour. Yes, that's what we can do. That's a little bright. We'll get some titanium with it. It's It's a little bit pinky actually. It's pinky yellowy light coming through. But we could have a little bit of yellow with it though. Yes, I think that was more like it really. Yes, I think we need to take that light colour up there more. Take some white into this, I think. I'm mixing a little bit on, actually on the canvas. You can do it on your palette, but I'm just going to see what I can do here. Yes, I think come a little bit, getting that colour there, and also we've got it sort of a yellowy light in that porch, which I've got to see if I can capture. A little bit over there too. Got some yellow light in some of these windows here. Little bits of light showing. Yes, I think that can do. As I said, my pedestrians will come over that shortly. But I want it bright enough so that I'll cut into them with their shape. It's a bit later, I think. Yes, we've got shafts of yellow light cutting through. We'll line them up more accurately when we've put them in. So these are approximates really. I think I want a bit of white there. Let's clean my brush a bit. Yes, let's get a little bit of white light. Coming there. And it comes out more into our sky there. So I'm softening that edge. Can you see? Softening a little bit. Using some of my white. I just want to make a smooth transition. I'll tidy up on that tower later, I think. Little bits of light. There's a house just hidden here in the dark. So I want to kind of hint at some of the light there that it's catching or casting. Right. And then, do I bring some more? Yes, I think I've got green over here. Let's just try and lighten this a little bit, because we certainly have light green floodlight reflected off the church is showing there. Bring it over here a little bit. Projects a little bit over the church. Yes, I think we can do that. And I'll be putting trunks of the trees in here. And there is, let's put some fencing there. I think there is a fence that comes along there. So this will help me, so I don't have to have it all quite so dark. But I've got to have it dark enough to illustrate or to contrast, to make this church stand out. Put a bit of light on here maybe. I think we have a wall here as well, or a fencing set back. And also I notice we've got green here as well. It's not showing in my reference, but as we said, it's photographs tend to blacken things. The human eye would show more green and more detail. So to make it work as a painting, it's somewhat different. You need to make it different. And I think we have some green here too. There's not too much detail because, as you say, it's dark. We only got to kind of hint at it, really. There's a little bit of light there coming. So I've got a little bit of titanium with a little green on my brush there. To show that light. And also we've got some coming here. And in the front of the We need to put some different colour. Let's take a bit of ochre, a little bit of that orangey colour left over from that marks I put on the road. Yes, there's a little bit of light we can put here. Soften that on that wall, so we would have some light. I still need, obviously we've got to get to the sky and deal with that. Again, I'll try and hint at some building there. Which there was, or is. Now, let's get back to that bigger brush and try and lay in more of these darks. It's quite a sharp line there in my reference. So I think we could use that, and I have to connect these silhouettes with this line, of course. Got to join up these masses, I think. Yes, I think that's... Bring in some darks here. So these will be quite strong marks here. Just lay them on a little bit thicker because it's alla prima, it's wet on wet. It's kind of tricky to lay it down. You have to be a little light touch with my brush. Turn it over. Reload it. Shadows. Right. Now let me think. Got to get this transition. Right. Perhaps I better get on, see what I can do with these, laying in a better representation of the church, which of course we'll be doing that. It's just when to do it. This needs to be darker in here. Yes, it's beginning to take place. Getting some got to get that transition. I think I might see if I can make it. Should I make him a nicer blue? Let's have a think about that. I think I will. I think you take a little bit of ultramarine and some nice titanium there. Let's step it up a bit. You can always cool it with a little bit more. Titanium, always cool it down a little bit. All right. Let's get some more colour in that. Should I bring it over here a bit? That needs to be darker. That's what I'm going to do, and then we've got to put some more detail in this structure, of course, which we will do. Right. Now I think I really ought to concentrate a bit on the tower. So let's clean up some of the brushes, get the right shape for that tower. Got to get it right. With architecture, one thing you really have to do is get those straight lines. archway here. In the centre of that. Yeah, so we've got the got to get that roof right as well on that piece of. We've got a bit of buttress here as well, and here lots of shadows, different parts down here. Right. Right, let's get some smaller brushes. See what we can do with this church. Now, where's the small one? I need a really nice little small one for some detail. Now, let me think. This one. Really, really tiny one. A number 3, little stubby one. Well, there's my completed painting. Obviously, I had a lot more detail after the battery died on my windows, but it is an impressionistic painting. I haven't, they're absolutely not done in detail or absolutely accurately, but enough to catch the impression of the lovely photograph that I use as my reference. But what you might find interesting, I did this oil now, and a couple of days ago I did a watercolour of the same reference. Quite a different take, of course, obviously not as black, and I only did this as a bit of a sketch, but I'm quite pleased with it. A lot of my friends seem to like it, but I've kept the essence of the silhouettes in the watercolour there, and the light of this little porch or bus stop there, the light and the light on there, but obviously not so severe and perhaps as dramatic as my oil painting. And of course, people all have their own choices. Some people like the lightness and the translucency of the watercolour, and other people like the vivid, more textural element of this. And I don't know if you can, my light's picking it up, but there's quite a lot of texture in here, and this tree catching the light. So I've got a much thicker paint. I have managed to keep to some extent the silhouette from the reference picture that I had, and the light on the top of this lich gate, and obviously the light on the church tower, and the little bit of the floodlights, of course, catching this tree here and a little bit here. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like, and perhaps subscribe to the channel as well. It all helps the channel. But anyway, also, if you've got any comments, please put some comments in. If you paint or not, it doesn't matter really. It'd be interesting to hear what you have to say. Anyway, thanks for watching.